to the online education for the English medium organized by the Education Department of Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. Today, we are going to continue with the subject of science for standard 9. This is the second session for the topic study of sound. So today we are going to be talking and learning about the concepts relating to reflection of sound. Okay. My name is Vishal Sudhir Chaudhary and I am from the Kurar Village MPS English Secondary School. Okay. So let us move on with the topics. Now in this chapter, we will be covering all of these topics relating to study of sound waves, velocity of sound, reflection of sound, the human ear, audible sound, infrasonic and ultrasound, right? So far, we have studied the concept relating to sound waves and the velocity of sound. Okay, so today we will be concentrating more about the concepts relating to reflection of sound. Okay, now let's recall what we had learned in the first session, that is in the previous class, right? So we had learned about the definition of sound, right? So sound is what? A sensation, right? Which creates the sensation of hearing. It is a form of energy which creates the sensation of hearing in our ears, right? We had also studied properties of sound waves. Then we had seen about the types of the sound waves, that are the longitudinal waves and the transverse waves. We had also studied about certain characteristics of sound waves, such as wavelength, frequency, amplitude, time period, and so on. Okay. We also studied about the velocity of sound and how the velocity of sound varies with the different conditions like temperature, density, molecular mass, right? So today we will go on further and try to understand the various types of sounds which are present in nature. Okay. Now, sound is broadly categorized into three major categories, that is the audible sound, the infrasound, and the ultrasound. Now, the audible sounds are the sounds which can be perceived by us humans. That means the sounds which are capable to be heard by humans are considered to be under audible sound. Infrasounds and ultrasounds are certain types of sounds which we humans cannot hear. Okay, so these sounds are characterized or classified based on their frequencies. Okay, so let us go into detail and try to understand what are the various types of sounds. Okay, so as I have told you, these three types of sounds are classified based on their frequencies, right? So let us try to understand the different types of different categories in which these sounds are classified based on their frequencies. Okay, so the audible sound has a frequency of 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Okay, infrasounds are the sound which have a frequency lower than 20 hertz, and ultrasounds are sounds having frequency higher than 20,000 hertz. Now you have studied previously about frequency, right? Now frequency is what? Number of oscillations per unit time is a frequency, right? So if I say that a sound has a frequency of 1 hertz, that means the oscillating particle or oscillating object oscillates once every 1 second. Okay, if I say that a sound has a frequency of 20 hertz, that means the oscillating object oscillates or vibrates 20 times each second. Okay, so the sounds generated by a vibrating object which vibrates from 20 times a second to 20,000 times a second, such sounds can be heard by us humans. Okay, infrasounds are sounds which are having frequencies less than 20 hertz, means an object vibrating less than 20 times per second. For example, the pendulum, right? If you have a wall clock and if it has a moving pendulum, the pendulum vibrates or oscillates definitely very slowly. So the sound generated by the pendulum cannot be heard by us. Okay, then the next is what? The ultrasound. The ultrasound are sound having frequencies greater than 20,000 hertz, means the vibrations are so fast, that means the object vibrates more than 20,000 times per second, right? So these sounds cannot be heard by us humans. But the inaudible sounds, that means infrasounds and ultrasounds, can be perceived by certain animals like elephants, bats, dolphins, and other animals, right? Now let us go into detail and try to understand what is audible sound. The limits of hearing of the human ear are 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. The human ear can hear sound frequencies in this range. So any particle or any object which happens to oscillate within this frequency range, that is from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, The sounds generated by such objects, such vibrating objects, can be heard by us humans, and these sounds are called as audible sounds. Human ears cannot hear frequencies lower than 20 hertz and higher than 20,000 hertz, right? So sound waves having frequencies lower than 20 hertz are called as infrasounds, and those higher than 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz are called as ultrasounds, right? Now here kilohertz, 1 kilohertz is what? 1000 hertz. So 20,000 hertz will be 20 kilohertz. Okay, then you need to understand the terminologies here, right? Now further, let us talk about infrasounds. Now sound waves with frequencies smaller than 20 hertz are called infrasounds. The sound produced by a pendulum and the sound generated by the vibration of the earth's crust just before an earthquake are the examples of infrasounds. Now the sounds which are generated by the earth's crust just before an earthquake is supposed to happen, they are in the range of less than 20 hertz. Now certain animals like elephants, dogs, and certain birds, right, can sense these vibrations of the earth's crust, right? So if you might have observed, we might not have observed an earthquake in our day, our lifetimes, but scientists have made such observations that during an earthquake or just before, several minutes before an earthquake, certain animals happen to show increased activities because they are able to perceive and hear these sounds which are generated just before an earthquake. Okay, then next is what? The ultrasound. Now, sound waves with frequency greater than 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz are called as ultrasound. Now, dogs, mouse, bats, dolphins, etc., have a certain ability to hear ultrasonic sounds. Now, they can sense some noise which are audible to us, inaudible to us humans, means they can hear these ultrasounds which us humans cannot hear. Right now, bats and dolphins, they also make use of these ultrasounds for locating the prey, right, and to find paths when they are flying, like bats. Okay, then children under 5 years of age and some creatures and insects can hear frequencies up to 25,000 hertz, that is 25 kilohertz. Okay, then bats, mice, dolphins can also produce ultrasound, right? Along with the ability to hear the ultrasounds, bats and dolphins can also generate, right, the ultrasounds. So it is used for communication between ships at sea. Now ultrasonic devices are used by ships which are traveling at sea. Now at sea, there is nothing like mobile communication because mobile phones will not have a network over there, right? So ships which are at large distances, right, they use ultrasonic devices which generate ultrasound, and the two ships at sea can communicate with each other by using these ultrasounds. Okay, ultrasounds are also used to obtain images of internal organs in a human body, right? So the technique used to obtain images of the body, images of the internal organs of the body, the technique is called ultrasonography, or sometimes generally referred to as sonography, right? So by using the technique of sonography, right, the doctors can analyze if there are any problems or diseases inside the body, right? So there can be an abdominal sonogram or sonography which can help us to identify if there are any problems within the human body. Okay, then ultrasound is also used to locate cracks and faults in metal blocks. Now this technique is used widely for detecting cracks in railway tracks. Okay, now whenever the periodic maintenance of the railway tracks is done, they use an ultrasonic device, right, which sends ultrasounds inside the track and which are reflected back and are taken by a sensor. So that sensor helps to identify if there happens to be any crack in the track. So if they happen to detect the track which has a crack, what they do is they just replace the part of the track. Okay, and thereby they can prevent accidents from happening. Okay, then let us now try to understand the concept relating to reflection of sound. Now you might have studied the concept of reflection of light. Okay, now sound also under certain special circumstances happen to obey the reflection laws of reflection. Okay, so light, like light waves, sound waves too get reflected from a solid surface or a liquid surface. Okay, sound waves also follow the laws of reflection. a smooth or a rough surface is needed for the reflection of sound. The direction of incident sound wave and reflected sound wave make equal angles with the perpendicular to the surface, and all these three lie in the same plane. Now, if you observe this diagram here, right, now you can see that there is a hard plywood piece that is kept. Okay. Now, perpendicular to that hard plywood, we have kept a soft wood, right, with a gap in between. Okay. Now, on the left hand side of the partition of the softwood, we have kept a stopwatch, right? And we have used two cardboard tubes so that the sound coming from the stopwatch can be channeled. Okay. Now, if there is a person on the right hand side, right, trying to listen to the other cardboard tube, right, at certain angles, the person can very clearly hear the sound, the ticking sound coming from the stopwatch. Now, if you can observe the diagram, you can see that the sound waves emerging from the stopwatch are creating an angle I with the normal. Normal means a perpendicular, which is the softwood there. Okay, so you can see the angle of incidence I is equal to the angle of reflection R, which is according to the laws of reflection, right? So the phenomena of reflection of sound generates very special cases such as echoes and reverberation. Okay, so the reflection of sound is a very interesting characteristic with which, with the help of which we can have various kinds of devices, right? So an ultrasonography device, that means where we were trying to detect any defects in the human body, or where we were trying to determine faults in the tracks, right? That also works on the concept of reflection of sound. Okay, now depending upon the type of the object from which the sound is getting reflected, the reflectors of sound are classified into two types, that is good reflectors of sound and bad reflectors of sound. Okay, now good reflectors are of sound are the surfaces which are very hard and rigid and have a smooth surface. Okay, so good reflectors of sound help in reflection of the sound by obeying the laws of reflection, whereas the bad reflectors of sound are the surfaces which are having a rough surface, which are soft or maybe spongy, right? So the bad reflectors of sound are useful in absorbing the sound waves. Okay, so how much of the incident sound gets reflected decides whether a reflector is a good or a bad reflector. So a good reflector will reflect maximum amount of sound that is incident on its surface, whereas a bad reflector of sound will absorb, right, and the will not reflect maximum amount of sound. Okay, so a hard and a flat surface is a good reflector, while clothes, paper, curtains, carpet, furniture, etc. absorb sounds instead of reflecting it, hence they are bad reflectors, right? So the objects which are reflecting or absorbing the sound become very important in certain cases. For example, when you are in an auditorium or in a movie theater, you will not want sound to get reflected from the walls, right? Okay, which will create disturbance in the sound which are generated during the movie or during the audio music performance, right? So it is a highly undesirable situation. Okay, so auditoriums and movie theaters are designed in such a way, and they are having certain materials used in them which reduce and minimize the effects caused due to the reflection of the sound. Okay, now one of the most important and very interesting characteristics which are caused due to the reflection of sound is a concept of an echo. Okay, so you must have visited an echo point at a hill station. Now you can uh, visit any hill station. Almost all hill stations will have an echo point. Okay, so if you shout loudly at such a point, you hear the same sound after a little while, and this sound is called as an echo, right? So wherever you have that echo point, if you shout out very loudly, right, you will hear your own voice again after a certain time interval, right? So the repeating sound is called as an echo. Okay, so let us see what is the definition of an echo. An echo is a repetition of the original sound because of reflection from some surface. Okay, so for an echo to be produced, you need a source of sound, right? Okay, and you need a surface from which the sound can be reflected and come back to you. Okay, So let us try to understand in detail about echoes. Now, in order to be able to hear the original sound and its reflection distinctly at 22 degrees Celsius, what must be the minimum distance between the source and the reflecting surface? Now, for us to hear a distinct echo at a given temperature, now why we are considering temperature? Because changes in temperature will change the velocity of the sound, right? So here we are considering a given temperature that is 22 degrees Celsius. Now, at 22 degrees Celsius, the velocity of sound in air is 344 meters per second, right? It is calculated. Now, for an echo to be heard, the sound should come back to us after an interval of 0.1 seconds, right? Now, there is a certain concept, right, which is called as retention of sound on our eardrums, inside our ears. Our brain retains any sound that we hear for a time interval of 0.1 seconds. So, the given same sound cannot be interpreted by our brain within that interval of 0.1 seconds. So we can hear the sound if it is coming back only after 0.1 seconds. Okay, so thus for us to be able to hear a distinct echo, the sound should take more than 0.1 seconds after starting from the source to get reflected and come back to us, right? So if you look at this diagram here, you have a person who is shouting, right? And there is an object, maybe a wall, which is at a certain distance from the person, right? So when the person shouts, the sound waves travel, right? They collide with an object and get reflected and come back, right? So the reflected sound which is coming back is heard by the person, which we perceive as an echo. Okay, now we can determine the minimum distance between the source and the reflecting surface as follows. Now we know that the formula for speed equals to distance upon time, right? So the distance will be will be given as what? Speed multiplied by the time interval, right? Now in this case, we know that the speed of sound at 22 degrees Celsius is 344 meters per second, right? And the minimum time interval required for us to hear that sound is 0.1 seconds. So 344 multiplied by 0.1 seconds will be what? 34.4 meters. That means the sound has to travel at the total distance of 34.4 meters, right? So that 34.4 meters will include the distance from the source to the reflecting surface, and then the reflecting surface back to the source, that is a listener. Okay, so the back and forth total distance should be 34.4 meters. That means the minimum distance between the source and the reflector should be half of 34.4, that is 17.2 meters, right? So that means thus to be able to hear a distinct echo, the reflecting surface should be at a minimum distance of half of above, that is half of 34.4 meters. It comes down to 17.2 meters, right? So if you are standing at a distance greater than 17.2 meters from any object, from any large reflecting surface, and you happen to shout loudly in front of it, you will hear a very distinct echo. Okay, now as the velocity of sound in air depends on the temperature of the air, the distance also depends upon the temperature, right? Okay, now further. Now the next concept is related to reverberation. Now the reverberation is a concept which has a highly undesirable property that is caused due to the reflection of the sound, right? Now let us try to understand the concept of reverberation by comparing two cases. Okay, now let us look at the first case on the left hand side. Okay, point number one: go to an empty closed house with your friends, find out if there happens to be an empty home without any furniture. Okay, once inside, you can chat with your friends and observe what do you sense. Okay, what about the second case? In the second case, close the doors and windows of your house and switch on the music system. Okay, with a loud noise, loud volume. Okay, increase the loudness of the system as much as possible. Now what do you sense? You have to observe it. Okay, so let us try to understand the observations in both the cases. Right now, in the first case, the echoes of the chatting students are heard. After some time, it will become difficult to hear one another, right? So when you have present in an empty room or an empty classroom without any benches or without any furniture, and if you start chatting with each other, what happens is after some time you are not able to hear what the other person is speaking or what is the chat going on. You are not able to understand. Okay. Same case in the second case, the sound of the music seems like jumbled and prolonged, and it becomes highly undesirable to listen to this sound after some time due to multiple reflections. Now, what happens is sound generated by the source will get reflected from the walls of the classroom or the room in which you are there, right? So the sound waves will experience multiple reflections and the sound will reach the listener, right? Now, sound waves get reflected from the walls and roof of a room multiple times. Now, repeated reflections of sound waves from the walls combine to build up what seems like a continuous sound. This causes a single sound to be heard not once but continuously, and this phenomena is called as reverberation. Now, if you look at the diagram here, okay, now on the left hand side, you can see that there is a source of sound. That means there can be a person who is talking, or there might be a singer who is singing. On the right hand side here, you can see that the person is sitting on the chair and who is the listener there, right? Now, when the person on the left hand side, the source of the sound, when he's speaking or when he's singing, what happens is the sound reaches in a straight line directly first, right, and reaches the listener. But the sound waves which travel a much larger distance, which get reflected from the walls and the ceilings of the room, they reach the listener a bit later in time because of the time delay as they have to travel a longer distance, right? So this creates a sensation where the listener happens to listen to the same sound for a quite a long interval, and because of which he's not able to understand exactly what the speaker is saying. Okay, then the time between successive reflections of a particular sound wave reaching us becomes smaller and smaller, and the reflected sound get mixed up to produce a continuous sound of increasing loudness which cannot be heard clearly. It is the same case in this case also, right? If you look at the diagram here, on the stage you can see the person who is talking, right? Now, the direct sound reaches the listener with the least possible distance, right? And the traveling time will be the minimum. Whereas the reflected sound taking multiple paths will reflect from the walls as well as from the ceilings as well as from any feature which is present on the walls, right? Okay, so you can see here that enclosed room with many reflective surfaces will generate lots and lots of sound waves which will reach the listener at different time intervals, right? So due to this what happens, the time between successive reflections of a particular sound wave reaching us become smaller and smaller, and the reflected sound gets mixed up to produce a continuous sound of increasing loudness, and hence you cannot hear clearly what the person is trying to say. Okay, excessive reverberation is not desirable as the speech of the speaker or the pitch of the music cannot be heard clearly due to the mixing of reflected waves and direct waves produced after the production of earlier waves, right? So in this case, because of this phenomena, because of reverberation, right, the person who is trying to listen to the speaker will not be able to listen to him, right? So there are various ways by which the phenomena or the concept or the occurrence of reverberation can be decreased. Okay, some auditoriums, public halls, or buildings are considered acoustically poor because of reverberation. So reverberation is what? The occurrence of multiple reflections from different surfaces within the enclosed space, right? So to reduce reverberation, the roof and walls of auditoriums are generally covered with sound absorbing materials such as compressed fiber boards, rough plaster, or curtains. Now, some while earlier, we have studied the concept of good and bad reflectors, right? So in an auditorium, if the walls of the auditorium are made up of very hard, smooth surfaces which form good reflectors, what will happen? There will be excessive reverberation taking place in the room, right? And it will be an undesirable situation where the sounds will not be heard clearly, right? So in an auditorium or in a movie theater, what we have are the surfaces which are having very rough textures, or the surfaces are coated with holes, tiny holes, or you can see there are long curtains sometimes which are there, or the walls of the auditoriums and movie theaters are coated with soft material. Now this soft material or surfaces having tiny holes or surfaces with very rough surfaces, what they happen to do is they act like bad reflectors and they absorb a lot of the sound. Okay, so the reflection created or reflection generated by these surfaces are reduced greatly, right? So this helps in reducing the reverberation which is caused in a auditorium, right? क्या लिखा देखो, to reduce reverberation, the roof and walls of auditoriums are generally covered with sound absorbing materials such as compressed fiber boards, rough plaster, or curtains. And even the materials of the seats is chosen such that it absorbs sound waves to the desired extent. Yes, so you must have observed the seats in the auditoriums and movie theaters are so soft, right? First of all, they are soft for comfort, but secondly, they are soft so that they can absorb the sound waves and reduce the reverberation. Okay, so here you need to prepare the definitions for audible sounds, infrasounds, ultrasound, echo, and reverberation, right? Then the next question is, what must be the minimum distance between the source and reflecting surface at 22 degrees Celsius to produce an echo, right? So we had calculated that distance to be 17.2 meters, right? So you need to explain that there. And then next question is to state the various methods to reduce the reverberation, right? Now, before we conclude the class, let us once again revise what we have done today. Okay, and then we will take some questions, right? If anyone wants to ask. Okay, so today we have studied about the types of sound, that is audible sound, infrasound, and ultrasound. Okay, now audible sounds are the sound waves having frequency within 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Infrasounds have a frequency lower than 20 hertz, and ultrasounds have frequencies higher than 20,000 hertz. Okay, then audible sounds are the sounds which are heard by us humans, as our human ears can only listen to sounds between the frequencies of 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Okay, then infrasounds are sounds having frequencies lower than 20 hertz, right? Such as sounds produced by a pendulum and the sounds produced just before an earthquake, which we cannot hear, but certain animals can sense these sounds. Okay, then ultrasound are sound waves with frequency greater than 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz, right? Animals like dogs, mouse, bats, dolphins, right? They have a special ability to hear those ultrasounds, which you as humans cannot hear. Children under 5 years of age or certain animals and creatures can also hear frequencies up to 25,000 hertz. Okay, that is 25 kilohertz. Then certain animals like bats, mice, dolphins can also produce the ultrasound. Right now, if you look at the image here, the bat happens to produce ultrasound. Now, these ultrasonic sound waves, they get reflected from their prey, something like a small butterfly or a small insect. Right now, when the sound is reflected from that insect, it reaches the bat back again, which the bat hears. Right, and from the time taken and the direction from which the sound is coming, the bat is able to locate the position of insect, and thus it can eat it. Okay, so ultrasound is also used for the communication between ships at sea, right? Then it is used to obtain the information which we will study in the next, right? It is also used to locate cracks and faults in railway tracks and in other metal blocks, right? Then we also studied the concept of reflection of sound, where sound happens to obey the laws of reflection. Okay, then we had studied the concept of good and bad reflectors of sound, right? So what are good reflectors of sound? Objects or surfaces which are very hard, tough, and have a smooth surface. Okay, bad reflectors of sound are the objects which are soft, right? Like clothes or curtains, right? Then they have a very rough texture, or they have a very uneven surface. Okay, then echo, right? So an echo is a repetition of the original sound because of reflection from surface, right? So for an echo to be generated, you need a source of sound given distance. Okay. So in order to hear an echo, is 344 meters per second. Okay. Our brain retains any sound for a time interval of 0.1 second. So for an echo to be heard, right, the time interval between the original sound and the reflected sound should be greater than 0.1 seconds. Okay, so thus for us to be able to hear a distinct echo, the sound should take more than 0.1 seconds after starting from the source to get reflected and come back to us. So the total time taken for the sound from the source to the reflector and back to the source should be greater than 0.1 seconds. Okay, now, so we can determine by using the formula for speed, that equals to distance upon time. So distance will be equal to speed multiplied by time. Okay, now at 4 meters per second, right? And the minimum time interval should be 0.1 seconds, right? So if you calculate that, we get a distance of 34.4 meters. So the total distance from the source to the reflector and back to the source should be 34.4 meters. Okay, so thus to be able to hear a distinct echo, the reflecting surface should be at a minimum distance of half of this, that is greater than 17.2 meters. So for us to hear an echo from a surface, that surface should be at a distance greater than 17.2 meters. So greater the distance, longer will be the interval between the generated sound and the reflected sound, that is the echo. Okay, then we studied the concept of reverberation, right? So we studied those two cases where the sound become inaudible if you happen to chat in an empty room, right? Or if you play very loud music with doors and windows closed. Okay, it becomes very difficult for you to enjoy the music, right? It is because of the concept of reverberation, right? So reverberation is caused due to multiple reflections of the same sound. Okay, so sound waves get reflected from the walls and roof of a room multiple times. Repeated reflections of sound waves from the walls combine to build up what seems like a continuous sound, which is very difficult to understand. Okay, so this causes a single sound to be heard not once but continuously, and it is called as reverberation, right? The time between successive reflections of a particular sound wave reaching us becomes smaller, and the reflected sound gets mixed up to produce a continuous sound of increasing loudness, as we have seen, which cannot be heard clearly. Okay, so excessive reverberation is not desirable, as the speech of the speaker or the pitch of the music cannot be heard clearly due to the mixing of the reflected waves and the direct waves. Okay, then some auditoriums, public halls, and buildings are considered acoustically poor because of reverberation. So, in these auditoriums and in these halls, right, what we have are bad reflectors of sound which are installed on walls as well as on the ceilings, right? To reduce reverberation, the roofs and walls of auditorium means bad reflectors of sounds, or even you can have some which have lots of holes in them so that the sound can enter those holes instead of getting reflected. Okay, sound waves, right? So here we cut the class. Now okay, so can anyone answer me what are the three types of sounds that we have studied today based on the frequencies? Come on. Yes, Sanu Mishra, answer.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, beta, good morning. Can you answer?
The audible sound, infrasound, ultrasound.
Yes, beta, very good, very good. Now, can anyone answer the frequency range for audible sounds? Come on, Nikita Gupta.
Lower than 20 hertz and higher than 2000 hertz, 20,000
No,
hertz.
no, 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 no. ठीक से सुनो बेटा, ठीक से सुनो. Audible
Sorry,
sounds.
sir. Sorry.
Yes, repeat.
20
Come on.
hertz to 20,000 hertz.
Yes, greater than 20 hertz and less than 20,000 hertz. Chalo beta, very good, very good. Okay. Now, can anyone answer the frequency range for infrasound?
So higher than 20,000.
Infrasound beta. Wait, let Nikita Gupta answer. Come on. Or Naveen and Sachin can also answer. Come on, unmute and answer for infrasound. Yes, Naveen and Sachin.
Sir, lower than 20 hertz.
Yes, yes. Infrasound is lower than 20 hertz, right? What about ultrasounds?
More
Can you
than
give me the-
20,000 hertz.
Yes, more than 20,000 hertz. Yes, beta, very good. Okay. Now, can you name any animals which happen to make use of the ultrasounds?
Bats
Yes, bats and
and
dolphins also.
yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now, we had also studied today the concept of an echo, right? So at 22 degrees Celsius, what was the velocity of sound? Yes, Sakshi Maurya, come on, answer. Yes, Sakshi Tiwari, you can answer.
Is
Velocity of
that
sound.
344 meter per second.
Yes, beta, very good. 344 meters per second. Okay. Now, what is the time interval for which any sound is retained in our brains?
0.1 second.
Yes, 0.1 seconds. I also want other students also to participate and try to answer. You can raise your hands. Okay. Naveen and Sachin, you can unmute and answer. Okay. Then
Okay.
what? Yes. Now, what is the minimum distance that sound waves need to travel to generate an echo?
17.2 meter.
No. Listen to my question carefully. What is the distance that sound waves need to travel? That is 344 multiplied by 4.1. That is 34.4 meters. That is the sound has to travel a distance from the source to the reflecting surface and back again to the source. Right. So that is the total distance of 34.4 meters. If I ask you what should be the minimum distance between the source and the reflecting surface, in that case, it will be,
17.2.
yes, answer my question. Come on. Minimum distance between the source and the reflecting surface for an echo. Yes. Come on, Sakshi Tiwari, answer. It will be 17.2 meters. Distance between the reflecting surface and the source of the sound. Okay. But the total distance, the back and forth distance traveled by the sound waves will be 34.4 meters, minimum distance. Okay. Anyone has to ask any questions? Come on. Yes. Bolo. Come on, speak out if you have any questions. Okay then. So we will
Sir.
conclude the class here for today. Yes, bolo Sakshi Tiwari.
So wood is also the bad reflector of sound.
Yes, wood is also one of the bad reflectors of sound. Now, there are various types of wood, beta. Depending upon the type of the wood, it can be categorized, right? But if you have the furniture of the wood, right, that furniture of the wood will cause what the reflections to be generated, right? So wood can be of various categories, and depending upon the type of the wood, it can be either a good reflector or a bad reflector. Okay.
Yes.
ठीक.
So iron is also a good
Iron
bad
is
reflector.
a good reflector. Iron is a metal, and metals are very hard surfaces, right? Hard and smooth. So metal piece like
Iron is bad
iron.
reflector.
Sorry.
No, sir, nothing.
Okay, so iron will be a good reflector. Any metal surface, something like a metallic cupboard, right? It will be a good reflector of sound. Okay, so good reflectors of sound will be very hard and smooth, rigid objects, whereas bad reflectors of sound will be something irregular surfaces like clothes, curtains, right? Okay, or soft spongy surfaces. ऐसा soft surface अगर कोई होगा जो दब सकता है आपके हाथ से, right? So that can be a bad reflector of sound.
So plastic is good reflector of sound.
yes प्लास्टिक, लेकिन देखो बेटा प्लास्टिक भी अलग अलग टाइप्स का होता है. इफ यू हैव अ हार्ड ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ प्लास्टिक इट विल बी अ गुड रिफ्लेक्टर, लेकिन समथिंग लाइक अ कैरी बैग इफ यू हैव अ सॉफ्ट पीस ऑफ प्लास्टिक इट विल बी अ बैड रिफ्लेक्टर. सो डिपेंड करता है. देखो यू कैन रिलेट इट, अगर वो हार्ड है, बहुत हार्ड, कड़क, रिजिड है, बहुत एकदम कड़क है, तो वो गुड रिफ्लेक्टर होगा. लेकिन अगर कोई ऑब्जेक्ट सॉफ्ट है, राइट है, तो वो क्या होगा, बैड रिफ्लेक्टर होगा.
Sir,
ओके,
as you say
बोलो.
that classroom in a classroom there can be a reverberation
यस
or an echo, but
यस
in our school there is iron metal and is a metal and the bench is of iron and
बेटा एक मिनट,
plastic
एक मिनट.
and both
यस
are
यस
good reflector of
yes
sound.
yes but listen carefully,
Then
listen carefully. The bench is made up of these iron rods, right? So which are having a very small surface area, right? आपका जो bench होगा, it must be having a rod का frame होगा ना नीचे, right? So it
Yes.
has a very small surface area from which sound can be reflected. तो वहां से इतना ज्यादा sound का reflection नहीं आएगा. But आपका जो bench है, top प्लास्टिक का जो top है, उससे definitely reflection होगा, right? ओके, तो वो वहां पर रिवर्बरेशन क्रिएट करेगा. बट इट हैज टू बी एन एम्प्टी क्लासरूम. एम्प्टी क्लासरूम मींस सिर्फ खाली बेंचेस है वहां पे, तो वहां पे बेंचेस विल क्रिएट द रिवर्बरेशन. यू कैन ट्राई दिस इन एन एम्प्टी क्लासरूम ओनली विद बेंचेस. ओके, यू विल हियर दैट साउंड विल परसिस्ट इन द रूम. देखो, इसको हम लोग हमारे जनरल टर्म्स में बोलते हैं ना, आवाज घूमता है हमारे क्लासरूम में, राइट?
Yes, sir.
इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं कि आवाज घूम रहा है. उस आवाज घूमने के फिनोमेना को इंग्लिश में रिवर्बरेशन कहते हैं. ओके
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, beta. Yes. Any other questions from anyone? Come on, anything? Come on. Bolo, Sanu Mishra. Yes. Sanu Mishra, bolo. What you want to ask?
Sir, fault means
Huh?
fault.
No, I cannot hear you clearly.
Sir,
What?
fault. FAULT.
Fault. Beta, fault मतलब crack होता है ना किसी में. That is a
हाँ
fault,
sir.
right? So if you have
Okay,
a metal object, अगर आपके पास कोई metal का plate है या metal का track है, right? तो अगर
Yes.
उसमें crack है कोई, तो it is a fault in the track, right? तो उस fault को determine करने के लिए कि ट्रैक, रेलवे के ट्रैक में कोई क्रैक है, राइट? क्योंकि अगर उसमें क्रैक है और उसके ऊपर से ट्रेन जाएगी, तो दैट ट्रैक विल ब्रेक एंड द ट्रेन विल गेट डिरेल्ड, एक्सीडेंट हो जाएगा, राइट? सो टू चेक इफ देयर इज अ, they use ultrasonic sound machines, right? So ultrasound machines,
Okay, sir.
learn
Thank you,
about
sir.
it. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
yes, okay beta, right? Okay, yes, yes. Mayur sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes sir, we can conclude the class for today, sir.